Hey, what is up guys? We're here and welcome back to Let's Play Sanctum 2. So, without further ado folks, let's jump back straight into this. This time around we are at Com Tower, which is a pretty nice sniping spot if you need one. Needless to say, I don't think I'll go for sniper here because there is a better sniping spot than this one, and I'm not comfortable with finding a good loadout for Simo. Simo's one of those guys I haven't found a good loadout yet. I might try, I might not. I could totally try. Oh. You know what? Let's go back with Vegans. I feel like giving another try to that giant berserking loadout. Although I will switch towers real quick. I'll go for this one because I feel like using new stuff. The Gatling is usually one of the towers I find as pretty shitty. I just find it as a general weak tower. It doesn't have any super good advantage to it. It does pretty good against little enemies because it kills them quickly, but because of the way the damage made in Sanctum, the way armor is a fixed damage amount, it tends to just shock against anything that's slightly armored, and also tends to not fare well against guys that are quite fast because they obviously leave the tower range very quickly, since that tower doesn't have much range. As you can see, it's actually a pretty close quarter tower. So I tend to say that it's a pretty bad tower, although it is extremely cheap. If there's one thing I'm gonna say about that tower is that you can pretty much get a level 3 on straight out of the bat, which really makes the tower a lot better if you think about it. Although it is one of the first time I actually tried it for real, so we'll see. Tried it a few times, but I thought it was so bad I never tried it again. But like I said, it was a patch recently, so they might have done something to it. Shit, I forgot to patch the other side. That's dumb. You know what? Let's restart this real quick. I apologize for that, guys. I forgot to patch the other side like an idiot. Meaning that all the enemies are just your defense. Well, fuck you. Because enemies tend to do that. So, as you can see, this map has a second level to it. It's one of the very first map. Oh, by the way, this is probably an Easter egg if you press all the buttons or something. This is one of the very first map where you can actually go higher and have pretty good sniping position. This one, for example, has a little pathway here. If you jump on that, makes you go up, and you can basically use this to snipe, which is very good if you if you have a seam or something. That's probably the door that opens if you press all the buttons. You know what? Before we actually go and do this, let's see if I can if it's all the buttons. Let's see that. You know what? Let's just try if that works, and if that doesn't, just fuck it. Like Sanctum 2, all the Easter eggs are the same. Pretty much, you have a button like that. You press it, and it usually opens the door. If it's all the buttons, it should open. If it's not, well, I just tried to find an Easter egg and wasn't successful in doing so. I do not know all the Easter eggs, sadly. If I did, well, I could show it to you, but I don't really know them at all. Apparently, it didn't do anything. So, let's do this. Enough messing around with shite. So, basically what I'm playing for this defense is quite a traditional defense, since this is a pretty traditional map. Nothing really to worry about. There is of course going to be a few flyers, but if there's anything, I'll just place tower in the path or something. I want to try these towers though, because like I said, I haven't really tried those. They're quite funky looking with that hollow around them. One would assume that this is actually a magazine or some sort. Anyways, quite funky looking turrets. Let's see if we can get through these guys out. As usual, that loadout is extremely effective. Should probably get damage just to get some more damage. Let's see. Huh. Actually, it's very effective against runners. I had an ACV place there, and it just let everything pass because it wasn't capable of killing everything fast enough. It did a lot of damage, but the runners or some sort of enemies, when the APC is at level 3, they still can pass. They'll be extremely damaged, but they still can pass. I guess a Gatling, when it has some some amount of crawlers is better than the ACP. So I guess that's the possible replacement for that one. It's nice to know. We'll put a focus beam here. Hopefully this is gonna be pretty good against big guys. Do we upgrade it? Nope. Since, you know what, I'll put a rocket there. Rocket's good for doing damage to big guys because it has a good base damage, and it also splash also means that it's also good against crows. Means the rocket is a quite a effective ground crowd control tower. Freaking over. Hover, usually let them pass. Since I have the loadout that's made around damage, I'm probably gonna get myself damage like that, and that's bad. Probably gonna die here. Don't want to get too damage. If you do, well, you're probably fucked. If you're wondering, the saw blade actually has a secondary fire. You basically toss a blade that does bleed damage. It's very good. If you can actually not shoot like an ass. Doesn't do anything to hover, sadly. That would be fun. One thing I like about Sweet is the fact that even if you shoot on armor, you basically, because of the way Sweet works, she does instant damage to everything. Even if you shoot on armor, you can still do some damage. Although the solid bleed damage does affect, which is quite nice to know. I love how, if you think about it, that loadout basically do more damage with the actual armor than myself. The 2000 damage is really ridiculous on that guy because you have so much health, so you don't really care about getting hit that much. Also, I should probably save a little bit of money because at some point there's bound to be flyers, unless there's none in this map. I should probably make a list of all the maps that has fire and some that doesn't, so I don't have to worry about bringing a flyer tower or anything. Any countermeasure. I usually go for a loadout that's pretty much good against everything, but sometimes you got to specialize a little bit depending on the era. Like, I remember there was one of the DLC that has so much flying units that if you don't bring an anti-air, or you don't actually bring a shit ton of cannons or Gatling or anything that can actually deal with small air units, they will just slaughter you because there's just so many of them. And I just love getting hit all the time and just doing anything. You know what? I wager I could probably win. Nah, I can't because there's those heavies. You know what? Next round, I'll try to win an entire round if it's possible, because, you know, if there's actually any dude that actually try to fight me, I'll try to win the entire round with only just letting them hit me. Just see if it's possible. If it is, well, that perk is probably not that well balanced. It's probably like so good too. Let's grind the heavy. Just look how much damage that thing does. It's quite ridiculous when you think about it. I said many times, the saw blade was like tailor-made for that character. I mean, all the other guys, there's maybe Skyle can do something decent because she gets more damage as every hit she does, so the saw blade hits pretty quickly. Maybe she could do something with a saw blade, but seriously, Aegon is just redonkulous with it. There's the way everything falls into pieces just nicely, so just everything dies. And I should probably leave before dying. Talking about dying. Crap. Apparently, I misjudged the range of these guys. They are short, but they're still gonna be capable of kicking your ass if they get to you. I tend to say that these guys are are some of the most dangerous enemies in the game. Not because they are, because there are a shit ton of them, and they all can hit you. And also, because they're so small, you tend to underestimate them, and they swarm you, and they just start punching you altogether, and they can bring you down very quickly if you're not careful. And that's probably and that's kind of what happened there. Even though it wasn't really quick, I wasn't careful enough because these guys look a lot less menacing than they actually are. Trust me on that one. On the other end, that defense is almost done. This map is weird to wall because once you get here, it's not much of a square over rectangle, so trying to get a while it is quite good for your OCDs, can be quite tricky. And that's one of the problems with Sanctum for me, is that I'm so OCD about getting the perfect wall in that it messes with me so much. And also, even though you're not forced to get a perfect wall in Sanctum, mostly if you have a good loadout and a good combo, I think something that's very, very well designed is always a plus, because the better your wall is designed, the longer it's gonna take them to the core, so the easier it's gonna be for you to just slaughter them. Sadly, I do not know where to go with that wall for now, so I guess I'll just drop this one. When you play multiplayer, it can be a pain if like both try to make a wall at the same time. When me and Bean play together, Bean usually gives me the wall, so there's only one person touching the wall, so there's no conflicts to where do we place the resources. Even though you can recuperate resources like as much as you want, unless you're playing in hardcore mode of it, it's, like I said, it can be tricky. Because imagine like two people trying to make their version of the maze together, and they don't have the same version, so they just end up like building their own thing on their side. Just, if you don't coordinate with your buddies, it just turns out to be such a logistical nightmare to get something done in terms of wall. Although I tend to say that Sanctum is easier to play solo, because when you play solo, the enemies are weaker and the hit also weaker. And the good thing about playing solo is that because of the way the game's balanced, since you only have to rely on yourself, it's easier to succeed. On multiplayer, the problem is it's not because it's actually easier to like take special type of enemies. For example, you can have like C mode that's designed to take down the enemies and have some huge crowd control suite. So it's good for that. The problem with playing co-op is that you got to coordinate your efforts well, because if you don't, it's actually gonna end up less effective as one guy playing solo. Although, truth to be told, I haven't played much co-op. I know for a fact, because I play with Bean and I notice how harder the game is when you don't have a loadout that goes well together. Although, again, by playing with Bean, I realize that sometimes you just get a combination of characters and towers and just so goddamn perfect. Although, there's one thing to be said. If you play co-op, you can bring more towers, because everybody has their own set of 4 towers, so you can have a much more diversified defense. Which is quite good, if you ask me. Because the more tower types you have, the less chance you have to find something that you can't defeat. Oh, by the way, focus tower. Yes, it is quite ridiculous when it just starts to focus down on an enemy. Let's see. Yeah, I really don't know what to do with my money. Guess I'll just wait it out. See if there's anything. There's always a point in the defense that if you did your job well, that you're just gonna be like, oh, I have so much money, what do I do with it? And currently that's what's happening. I have a lot of money and I really don't know what to do with it. Oh, and also be careful, because some enemies can actually stun you. Not these guys, but the flyers, for example. If they hit you, they can actually stun you. And if you're playing a close quarter character, getting stunned in the middle of a bunch can be lethal, pretty much. So you always gotta be worried about that. Getting stunned in a pack is not nice. I should probably stop revving my saw. It's not a rifle, dude. It's a saw. And I died. The more I play this, the more I realize I should probably go for Hydra Blood, but the thing is, I really don't know what to trade for. I could remove Against the Odd, but the thing is that Against the Odd is such a good perk, so it's hard. That's the thing about Sanctum, you can only get 3 perks, so sometimes you just wish you had a 4th one. It's like pretty much everything. I mean, you give players more stuff, they're obviously gonna want more. Because it's always like that. It's like cake. You give someone cake, they obviously want more cake now. Unless they're not gluten. And if they're not, well, good for them. Because if you give me cake, I'll want more. Because I love cake. And cornflakes. That maze should be alright. Let's see. It's not OCD perfect, but I'll guess I'll do a wraparound. That's good, that's good. Now we can start wrapping back together for the sake of OCD. I guess that would be good. I haven't spent all my money, but I don't really have time to do so. And it's not my defense is too weak too, so you know. And just for a bit, let's go for a full unload, a full damage unload in the back of this. Yes, it's pretty much a one shot. Because here I had the against the odd, because there was a lot of little creatures around me, which boost my damage. I had the damage itself, and I had the spray and pray. So basically, huge. I think I was like to up to maybe what, like 160 maybe damage up, something of the sort. Basically, ridiculous amount of damage. And I hate. And currently my loadout is not good because these guys are. They have quite a entire close quarter layout here. I mean, they're using stuff that explode on you if you get too close, with stuff that is very tough. And you need to shoot in the back, so you basically got to jump into the explosive line to be able to do decent damage, which is not good. If I can take them down before they explode, or just let one explode so I can get bonus damage, and then just slaughter the heavy. Let's see. So focus, this one's gonna go up. Since the little guys started to pass a little bit, I think after I have done upgrading that, I'm probably gonna pop some Gatlings. Another one at least, just to be safe. Like, I'm more wary of the small guys than the big guys, because the small guys, if one pass, they're most likely gonna have more, or how can I say that? Like, even if only one pass, you still got to go and get them to the core, because if you don't, they're gonna slowly destroy it, so. Yeah, and while you're not fighting, and you're running towards your core to protect it from that one guy that passed, it's all the time where the enemies can just go and destroy your stuff, so. Yeah. I'm more worried about the small guys than the big guys. It's usually why you see me using ACP so much. And I just love seeing the walkers suicide himself on the spike armor. Spike armor is really really a good perk. I should have given it a try before. Although it has been boosted in the last patch. It used to do like 1,500, now it does 2,000. Which is quite ridiculous if you think about it. I mean, these guys only have 7,000 health. Oh, fires. They could totally go on the other side because these guys don't give a shite about walls, so again, to be safe, I think I'm gonna diverge resources a little bit. I'm gonna pop a Gatling right here, so if they decide to pass there, they're gonna meet a nice, friendly neighbor Gatling. It's probably not gonna be able to hold them off, but if there's anything, I'll just abandon the line for quite a bit. I am confident that the tower layout I have will be able to hold the line for a little bit. Yeah, as I thought, they're going there, so if that guy passes on top, I'm gonna be diverting resources to the other line. I think it looks like they're going to pass. Okay, so I have to... No, they didn't. Okay, phew. So, I don't have to worry about that line on top. They could be passing by a stroke of luck, but either not. Let's spawn this. If you're wondering, the secondary fire on the blade is quite good. The only bad thing is that it uses a shit ton of ammo, so on the damage wise it's good, but on DPS wise it's bad just because the ammo consumption means that you have to reload your saw blade a lot. So technically the actual sawing is a lot better. I guess that was it then. Funnily enough, I just don't actually watch the number of wave admins, so it's usually a surprise. I'm like, oh, I'm done. Oh, okay, well, I'm done, I guess. So, Hailtothebreak here. Hope you enjoy. I wish I could fit 2 of them in the episode, but I just realized that one map just takes so much time I can't actually fit another one, so I have to end up after like 1 episode. So, I mean one actual map. So, anyways. Hailtothebreak here. Hope you enjoy as always, guys, and sorry for your little voice. I am currently a little bit sick, and yeah, see you later, guys. See ya.